What do we do when we're feeling depressed, when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling suffering, when we feel crushed? And what do we do when we're experiencing that type of pain? What we have to do is we have to look at the Bible. We look at this story here where Jesus prays in Gethsemane. And this is before Jesus had to go through the crucifixion. So when we look at this story, Jesus went to the olive grove called Gethsemane, and he said, "Sit here and wait while I go over here to pray." So Peter and Zebedee's two sons, James and John, waited, and Jesus went alone. He was anguished. And then Jesus also described that he was in grief. And the definition of grief is deep sorrow, misery, sadness, heartbreak, pain, agony, torment. And Jesus was crushed to the point of death. When he went alone to pray for the first time, he said, "If this is possible, let this suffering be taken away from me." But then he said, "Yet I want your will to be done, not mine. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak." So Jesus went back to his disciples and he saw that they were sleeping. And then Jesus goes away again to that spot to be alone, and he prayed it again to God. And Jesus came back another time to check on his disciples, the third time, and he saw that they were sleeping. This is all in the middle of the night, so this is like really intense. And Jesus prays the same thing again. He asked for God to take away his suffering. He said, "If this is possible, let this suffering be taken away from me. Yet your will be done, Father, not mine." But Jesus realizes that these things must happen, and he goes through the suffering and endures the cross. Jesus in this point was vulnerable. You could see his human side because he called himself the Son of Man. He was fully the Son of God, but he was also in a body, a man's body, and he felt anxious, he felt depressed, he felt physical pain, mental pain, suffering, sorrow, heartbreak. His spirit was crushed to the point of death. It's crazy because the Son of God felt all these things that we feel today. So when we're suffering, when we're going through anxiety and depression and sorrow and misery, whether it's a loss of a loved one, a relationship, we got to remember that we need to pray because the body is weak. And Jesus himself showed how important it was to pray to God. He got alone. He prayed with him. We have to shut out all these distractions, shut down our phones, shut down our computers, everything. Get alone. Go to your prayer closet and just pray to the Lord. It doesn't have to be a fancy prayer or anything. Just pray to God and show him what's on your heart. Show him that you want to release these anxieties and these cares up to him because he cares for you and he loves you. God has plans to give you a hope and a future. And God has plans for every single person watching this, and God loves you. Lift up your anxieties and your cares to him because he cares for you, and God is close to those whose spirits are crushed and to those who are broken. And our bodies are weak. We are going to feel these emotions, but God is strong. He's a mighty warrior, and God's power, his strength is endless. He loves you guys, and he wants the best for you. So lift it up all to Jesus. I love you guys. God bless.